welcome to another Hot Seat Spotlight for the Fall 2025 Builder Innovator Summit. Today, I am so super excited to be sitting down with Jennifer Cooper, founder and fractional CMO of Evolution Marketing. With over 15 years of experience in home building and more than 25 years in branding and customer experience, she's helped builders define their voice, elevate their brand, and create marketing that resonates with today's buyers.
Thank you so much. Love the intro. Now people are going to be calculating my age.
All right, so let's go ahead and jump in. So you've worked across various industries and worn a lot of hats, such as consultant, strategist, fractional CMO, so on and so forth. What is one career moment or shift that really shaped how you approach marketing today?
That's a good question. And I ponder this question saying, I don't know that there's just one. One being a marketer, our universe, our spectrum is constantly changing. What I do today as a marketer versus what I did 25 years ago, and I know my peers can say the same, it's just different. Our responsibilities are different. We have to be more technologically minded. It's all different. But I would say, now I'm looking at what can I track? How can I compete in the kind of consumer mindset? And when I think about working in sports marketing, I think about nonprofit, and I think about worked in construction, restoration construction. I've worked across a lot of different industries. And so I just always keep in the back of my mind to not be so focused on we're home builders. I work in, working in the home building industry, but the consumer we have a lot in the consumer mindset. So it's constantly reminding myself to say, what would the customer say? And to get out of my own head. And again, looking at that through a lot of the different industries and companies I've worked with kind of keeps that perspective sitting on my shoulders every day, that it's not all about us as one industry, because the customer's really the customer of all things.
So with that in mind, what's the biggest mistake that you see brands making today? And what should they be doing instead to kind of address the cautiousness of the buyers, but still, propel the industry forward?
So I've got to stay on top of the headlines. I've got to be on top of the media, even if it's right even if it's wrong. And it's many times wrong. John Burns actually posted the other day around the topic of headline says this. It might sound really scary, but then when you actually read the payoff of the article or whatever's being reported, it doesn't necessarily always match. But as marketers, we have to be watching that headline and then know how are we basically, working against it to keep consumer confidence of whatever we're buying. And a lot of times, like right now in housing, we have to do a lot of education marketing. What does it mean to invest with an ARM or a buy down, or what does that mean for monthly payment? And are rates good or are they bad? And are they going to change? There's a lot of education around that needs to happen around the buyer, not assuming that they know what we know and that we know historical figures or data. The customer doesn't know that. So evolving the message, meeting the buyer where they are, looking about education, connecting with your buyers throughout their journey to really understand their motivations, their pitfalls, the gaps in them adopting or taking on or purchasing your product, understanding more of those motivations behind your customer, that can infiltrate into the message that you're putting into market. I think, another thing to worry about is not forgetting to align your teams that they are the brand. Every piece of trash out there, you've got a storefront, you've got a home, job site, any kind of broken sign, any kind of crooked outlet speaks volumes of your value and your brand. And so all of those things around where is the buyer and then how is your team exuding the message of the brand, those are all things to be thinking about. When we're in tougher times, companies tend to be more focused on how bad it is than how much better they could make it in new and evolving ways.
You mentioned connecting with the buyer throughout the buyer journey. So in a perfect world, what does a genuinely buyer-focused experience look like from initial outreach to contract? Or what should it look like?
I kind of feel like brand is the air quality. Think of all the particles and the air quality in your corporate office, in your model homes, anywhere your brand lives, on a billboard, on a sign, on a shirt, it's everywhere. It's really everywhere. So thinking about a great experience is kind of thinking through a bunch of different steps. Like, how did they find us? What did they see? Was your storefront open? Was there an option to get in if it's not open and manned by a person, like in housing self-touring? Did we make the purchase easy and fun? Thinking about after you purchased, warranty, home care, questions. Was it easy? Was it comforting? Was it friendly? Were we completing the request on time and being really thorough with what they asked about? Making someone feel like, not like, am I in a transaction or am I in a relationship? If I'm in a relationship, I kind of want to be friends throughout it. I may be friends with you after, and I'm also then going to refer you. So I think if we think about that, is the person that I'm selling a home to, the word sales is really is cold. It's transactional. So how do we get past that and think about, how do I make this person feel like they're in a relationship, that we can be friends, and that I'm really here for them. I'm not here to sell them. And so when you think about that brand and the people and how you're showing up and how you're putting in the care factor, and even when they're grumpy and they're angry because something's going to go wrong, how we treat and train our people to respond and look for those friends versus those transactions are going to be creating a very, very genuine buyer-focused experience.
All right, so let's switch gears a little bit. At the summit, we have you on a couple panels and the keynote. So you'll be speaking on everything from innovation and design psychology to smart home marketing and revenue driving model homes. Around all of those topics, what mindset do you think today's buyers need to adopt if they want to stay relevant and profitable through this market transition?
Pretty short answer for me. It's evolve. It's also why my company's named Evolution Marketing. I think we're always evolving. We're growing, we're learning, we're aging, we're evolving. Everything's evolving. It's really time to step up the game. I'd say look at all the ways that you're engaging with technology to fulfill your day, how you're comfortable, how you're getting information, how you're making decisions. Think of all the ways, from Google to Alexa to our thermostats in our home to Netflix to ChatGPT to, we are using technology in so many ways to provide comfort, information. We're using technology that way. How are we going to flood our home buying experience, flood our product with that mindset? Keeping in that mindset of how we're living our lives differently, it's got to start to show up in the home building marketing process, the sales process, the experience, the overall product enjoyment.
Well, Jennifer, thank you so much for joining us in the hot seat. We really appreciate you taking out the time to just sit and chat with us and hopefully get some builders interested in attending the show.
Excited to dig deeper into these topics. These were very high level quick conversations today, but definitely excited to be at the summit. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. And if you're watching this and you want to see more or learn more about Jennifer Cooper, please be sure to check out her full expert profile on builderinnovator.com. All right. Thanks for watching and stay tuned for more.